Now I just know today's video is going to get a lot of people triggered, but regardless, I gotta be honest with my thoughts. Today, we're looking at the top 10 players in NBA history without a championship ring. There doesn't really need to be much explanation or build-up. I'm looking at their talent, I'm looking at their longevity, I'm looking at their statistics and their accolades, and determining who I believe are the top 10 players in this category. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 10, Allen Iverson. Simply put, the answer is one of the greatest scorers in the history of the game, and he was extremely tough as he would attack the basket relentlessly, trying to score around the rim. He was an NBA Hall of Famer, he was an 11-time All-Star, and a 4-time scoring champion. Beyond that, he was also fantastic in the passing lanes, as he was the steals champion a total of 3 times. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1997 and the MVP in 2001. Many people believe that he's the greatest pound-for-pound player of all time, as he only stands at 6 feet tall. And of course, who could forget his legendary performance in the 2001 season, where he ended the Lakers' undefeated playoff run. Number 9, George Gervin. The Iceman was also one of the greatest scorers of all time, as he had 4 scoring titles of his own, and he was a 12-time All-Star. Standing at 6 foot 7 inches tall, he was one of the most lethal wings that the game of basketball has ever seen, and he was equipped with an all-time great layup package, but specifically, he did his damage with his ambidextrous finger rolls. His scoring got as high as 33.1 points per game in the 1980 season, and the NBA recognizes him as one of the 75 greatest players of all time. Number 8, Steve Nash. He was an 8-time NBA All-Star, and famously, he was a 2-time league MVP, as he won the award in 2005 and in 2006. He's famous for leading the Suns' 7-second offense, as he was a quick decision maker, extremely intelligent, and often seemed like he had eyes in the back of his head. Nash is also one of the most efficient offensive players of all time, as he has the most 50-40-90 seasons in an NBA career. And if you look more closely at the statistics, you'll see that he had 50-40-90 percentages over the course of an entire decade. He led the NBA in assists per game 5 times in his career, and if there's one thing that keeps him from being higher up on this list, it's the fact that he was a defensive liability. Even with that being said, he has a strong enough resume for the 8th spot. Number 7, Patrick Ewing. This 7-foot center was absolutely lethal on both ends of the court. He was an 11-time All-Star and made 7 All-NBA teams. He also made 3 All-Defense teams and was the NBA Rookie of the Year in 1986. He was a dominant two-way force, and specifically in the 1990 season, he averaged a ridiculous 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocked shots. Unfortunately, he happened to play basketball during the same era as Michael Jordan, which kept him from winning championships. And the fact that he also played in the same era as guys like David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal also kept him from getting the praise and shine that his career deserves. Number 6, James Harden. He hasn't been as great in recent years, and because of some of his struggles lately, people are already starting to forget just how good a prime scoring Harden was. He was a 10-time All-Star, he led the NBA in assists per game twice, and he led the NBA in scoring 3 times, getting as high as a ridiculous 36.1 points per game in the 2019 season. Outside of Michael Jordan, that's the highest scoring average in NBA history by a guard. He was also the league MVP in 2018. If we're being honest about it, he has a pile of accolades and an incredibly impressive career. Although there have been some drawbacks, like the fact that some people think he's a free throw merchant, and the fact that he wasn't a great defensive player for the vast majority of his career. With that being said, he is without question one of the select few greatest scorers that the game has ever seen. Number 5, Chris Paul. CP3 has been playing basketball for so long that he's another guy that people forget just how good his prime was. He's incredibly accomplished, as he was a 12-time All-Star, made 11 All-NBA teams, was the Rookie of the Year in 2006, and he led the NBA in assists per game 5 times. Along with that, he was also incredible on defense, as he led the NBA in steals per game 6 times, and has 9 All-Defense Team selections in his career, which is among the most in NBA history at the guard position. This guy was an absolute two-way force, and was nearly the league MVP in 2008. Unfortunately, a championship ring continues to evade him, but he's still got some time, but time is running out. Number 4, John Stockton. He is the all-time leader in total assists and total steals by a country mile. He led the NBA in assists per game 9 times in his career, and he also has 5 All-Defense Team selections. He led his team to the NBA Finals in 1997 and in 1998, and if you need a great example of his consistency, consider the fact that John Stockton led his Utah Jazz to the NBA playoffs every single season of his career, which was a grand total of 19 seasons. He's certainly not the most flashy player, but he's tried and true, and just about anybody would love to have a point guard just like him. Number 3, Karl Malone. He is a dominant 6'9" power forward, and he's one of the greatest scorers in the history of the league, as he's 3rd all-time on the NBA scoring list, trailing only LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He earned 14 All-NBA selections, and he's actually an underrated player defensively, as he made 4 All-Defense teams. He's also a 2-time league MVP. He was one of the strongest players to ever live, and he made it to the NBA Finals in 1997 and in 1998. If there's one major drawback to his game, it's the fact that he turned the ball over a little too much, especially for a forward. With that being said, he should at least be in everyone's top 3. Number 2, Elgen Baylor. This 6'5" small forward is an NBA Hall of Famer. He was an 11-time All-Star, made 11 All-NBA teams, and was the Rookie of the Year in 1959. This guy was one of the greatest scorers in NBA history, as he averaged 34.8 points per game in 1961, and a stupid 38.3 points per game in 1962. But at that same time, he was averaging nearly 20 rebounds per game as a 6'5" small forward. Technically, he could have had an NBA championship ring if he had played with the Lakers for the remainder of the 1972 NBA season. The team did offer him a ring at the end of that year, but seeing how he only played in 9 regular season games, Baylor turned down the offer. Number 1, Charles Barkley. I understand that it's kind of a hot take to have the round mound of rebound in the number 1 spot, but I truly believe that he is the greatest player in NBA history to never win a championship. He was so good in his prime, as he was this terrifying combination of power and speed. He was an 11-time All-Star and was the rebounding champion in 1987. He was also the league MVP in 1993 and led his Phoenix Suns all the way to the NBA Finals, where he challenged Michael Jordan and actually had a fantastic series. MJ was just better. Barkley put up some truly absurd numbers during his prime, like in 1988, when he averaged 28 points and 12 rebounds while shooting nearly 60% from the field. Or how about in 1990, when he averaged 25 points per game, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 60% from the field. During his best seasons, Charles was regularly among the best scorers in the entire league, while making nearly 60% of his shots. That is absurd efficiency that's basically unheard of. This guy was a championship player, who played incredible on a championship level, but unfortunately, he just simply played in the wrong era. So what do you guys think? How would you change up the list? And am I the dumbest human to ever live for the way I ranked it? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.